The film begins with a fierce battle between a group of sailors and their captain in the middle of the dark sea. The crew, who are rebelling against their own captain, manage to corner the captain in a corner of the ship. But the captain is not showing any signs of surrender. He tries to fight with his own old crew. But one of the crew takes a gun and shoots the captain. The captain, who falls into the water because of the shot, sees a giant lizard, like Godzilla, coming towards him. Seeing this, the crew members are very scared. The captain, who is about to die in the water, sees this giant lizard going into a cave underground. So none of them knew that this incident in this town, there is a group of devilish divers who can tackle any deep sea. They are really skilled divers who are trained to dive deep into the sea and find treasures. As they go under the sea one by one, we get to see how beautiful the sea is. It is a very beautiful place, full of marine life, like fish, turtles, sharks. There is also a huge sunken ship with a treasure there. Before Haisheng can get to the ship, Haisheng is thrown into a whirlpool that suddenly appears. But Haisheng starts working again to get some oxygen from the oxygen container he has. Meanwhile, the others have finished loading the gold they need, but Haisheng has not yet come to the surface. This makes his crew a little worried. Continuing to swim to the bottom of the sea, Haisheng finds some pieces of a golden armor under the sea. As soon as he picks up a piece of Haisheng, a strange smoke appears as if it is being drawn to his hand. But suddenly, a local Godzilla starts to come towards Haisheng at a fast pace. Haisheng somehow loses consciousness and manages to escape from the giant animal by moving here and there. Since Haisheng is still missing, Loji goes to look for him while the other crew members board their boat. Somehow, the launch that brings Haisheng to his senses manages to take him to the surface of the sea. They come to the surface far away from each other, but the giant sea monster that emerges from the launch swallows Haisheng alive right in front of his eyes. Seeing this, the crew members, who are very scared, manage to throw Haisheng into the sea and quickly escape. At that moment, a giant warship that arrives there captures Haisheng. Inside the ship, he starts seeing strange things. At that time, a beautiful woman approaches Haisheng and asks him about the tattoo on his hand. So, this woman is the captain of the ship. Then Haisheng looks at his body and face strangely. But unfortunately for the woman, Haisheng is a young man with no sexual desire. Also, instead of this woman's left hand, there is a sharp weapon that can cut you if you look at it. She sees the piece of golden armor that Haisheng has and starts questioning it. Haisheng says that he found it under the sea and that the tattoo on his hand is a pirate tattoo. Hearing this, the woman is surprised. Therefore, they push Haisheng into the ship's storeroom, where another beautiful woman is being held. Haisheng, who hits his head on the ground and loses consciousness due to the force of the push, regains consciousness only due to the woman's cries. So, he needed Haisheng's help to escape from there, because the crew is ready to kill them, and this woman is also on her way to find the lost city under the sea. At that moment, Haisheng starts to see a vision of Longqi. Longqi tells him about the lost city under the sea, near the sea, and a treasure there. Apparently, Longqi is the child that Haisheng adopted when he was young. So, in fact, right in front of Haisheng's eyes, his adoptive father was eaten by Godzilla. Haisheng regains consciousness, manages to free the woman named Haishao, and both of them from the rope. Haisheng then walks around the room. Haisheng sneaks into the room where the female captain of the ship who captured him is sitting and presses a button there to find a secret wall. Meanwhile, Haisheng tries to escape from the crew of the ship, who are very drunk, but someone from there grabs him and tries to force him to drink. When Haisheng refuses, a fight breaks out among the angry crew. Meanwhile, Haisheng is able to find his golden armor and a map, Haishao escapes from the crew and manages to get to the upper deck of the ship. They are coming towards him with swords and daggers, so Haishao has no choice but to jump off the ship. But luckily, Haisheng, who is coming at that time, also manages to save Haishao and jump into the water. The two of them then manage to get on a boat in the sea. But suddenly, an arrow from the ship's captain comes flying and hits Haisheng in the back. So it seems that the gadget in his left hand can even shoot arrows. They pull him out. After a few hours, Haisheng regains consciousness on the boat that is floating in the sea. Haishao applies medicine to Haisheng's wound on his back and wraps it with a cloth. Then Haisheng shows Haishao the gold piece he has. Haishao says that according to the markings on it, it looks like it was made in their country. Haishao says that they will go to the city to find it in the water together. So Longqi needed time to live, so Haisheng agrees to this job. Haishao says that to enter their island, they have to pass through a cursed hole. After a few hours, they reach the cursed hole and see that it is almost invisible. It is a mysterious barrier that stretches far away. It is unbearably cold inside. Luckily, Haishao has a certain drink that can keep his body temperature constant. Slowly moving forward in the darkness, they see that it is a graveyard of destroyed ships. Unable to bear the cold, Haisheng loses consciousness. Therefore, Haishao gives Haisheng half of his drink to drink and hugs Haisheng to warm up a little. As the boat slowly moves through the graveyard of ships, Haishao tries to keep Haisheng awake by telling him a legend about the underwater city. A few hours later, Haisheng, who comes out of the cave, starts to see a vision that he had when he was a child. Then he comes back to his senses to the sound of Haishao arguing with an old man. But he falls asleep on the other side again. A few hours later, Haisheng wakes up and sees his wounds wrapped in bandages. Haisheng decides to get up and go outside to see if he has his gold piece. So it's a very free place. There are many little children playing there. Someone gives Haisheng a toy. So here, Haisheng meets Dr. Wu, who treated his wounds while he was sleeping. Also, the doctor had given Haisheng a special medicine to heal his back wound quickly. So at that moment, Haishao comes there with food and new clothes for Haisheng. So it seems that Dr. Wu is someone who knows a lot about many things. Therefore, Haisheng decides to ask Wu about his gold piece. Therefore, Wu gives Haisheng a book that describes each of the patterns. After discussing this information, the group goes out for a walk. Haishao shows Haisheng and Wu his island. So, the coast of this island is protected by the dome that we saw before. So, they spend the whole day walking around the island, learning new things about the legend and having a lot of fun. In the meantime, we see the captain of the ship following Haisheng. So, the ship, which attracts flamethrowers, enters the cursed dome in front of them. On the fifth day, Haisheng, Haishao, and Wu try to find out more about the underwater city. There, Haisheng realizes that the ship in the pirate diary is actually a location on Earth. Haisheng, who comes to the boat near the ship shape, says that he has found a way to get in. Saying that, the next second, Haisheng jumps into the sea and swims to the bottom of the sea. The other two who swim behind him finally find a large cave. There is a large air pocket there, so they can easily go up and breathe. So it seems that this cave was made by people. So they walk around and look around and finally find a large cliff. While they hang on the ropes and go down, Haisheng puts the torch in his hand down to see how deep the cliff is. So it seems that it is not that deep. When they reach the bottom of the cliff, the three of them start moving further and further into the earth. Haisheng suddenly starts seeing a vision of a soldier wearing armor and a little boy. Haisheng, who is worried, starts to move forward quickly, so the other two have to run faster. Suddenly, Wu shouts to them to run as the waves are coming towards them. Haisheng, who realizes that they have no chance to escape, puts Haishao behind him and sends an ice beam from his hand, stopping the water from flowing. They manage to escape from there, but they can't even imagine what the hell happened. Haisheng can't even imagine the size of that cave. because Dr. Wu is far ahead of them in this game. He finds something like a map, and Wu shows it to the other two. When he says that the map is so complete, Hai Sheng and Wu both think that the map shows the entire sea. Because of this, they can also figure out where the underwater city is exactly. In the midst of all this, Hai Xiao is very scared after seeing Hai Sheng's ice power. So he asks Hai Sheng what he really wants from the Sea City. At that moment, Hai Sheng starts seeing a vision of a soldier wearing armor and a little boy coming back. So maybe this is Hai Sheng and his father. It seems that Hai Sheng has been here before. Because of this, Wu and Hai Xiao think that Hai Sheng might be a descendant of the legendary pirates. Hai Xiao also tells him about the tattoo on Hai Sheng's hand, that Hai Sheng lied to him, but Hai Sheng says that he is just a child from an ordinary fishing family. Hai Xiao is not ready to believe any of this. Suddenly, something shakes the entire cave, and Hai Xiao leaves. Hai Sheng tries to follow him, but Dr. Wu stops him, because there is a bigger problem here than chasing women. Wu thinks that at this time, all the pirates outside the cave will destroy the entire island to find the underwater city. At this time, Wu understands. Hai Sheng is the son of the powerful pirate leader Hebo in the legends. Hai Sheng doesn't believe in any of this. Wu says that only Hai Sheng can open the entrance to the underwater city. Unable to bear all this, Hai Sheng, who is coming from there, comes to the surface and finds that the people on the island have been captured by pirates. Hai Sheng, who has nothing to do, is approached by Dr. Wu. Wu tells the pirates to abandon the people and kneel before him. So this is where we really get to know who Wu is. Wu Tai has been searching for a map to the underwater city for so long, but he didn't want to harm any of the villagers. While Hai Xiao looks at him with two eyes full of hatred, Wu says that if no one opposes them, no one will be in trouble. Hai Sheng, who is caught up in all this trouble, can't even imagine what to do now. The villagers, who think Hai Sheng is a traitor, even try to attack him, but the captain manages to stop it. Because of this, the villagers and the pirates were ready to attack the enemies with swords and daggers, but Doc Wu didn't want to kill him with the people. Now that he has a map, he needs to leave quickly. Also, Wu tells Hai Sheng to leave because Hai Sheng doesn't belong there. So Hai Xiao's grandfather and Devo were killed by the pirates. Because of this, Hai Xiao starts crying in pain. Finally, Hai Xiao is labeled as a pirate and has to leave. Now that he has no way to go, Hai Sheng finally has to go to the pirates. Hai Sheng is welcomed on board by the captain, who introduces him as a pirate. Wu says that the gold piece Hai Sheng found is not just like that. It is a piece of his father's armor. Dr. Wu asks Hai Sheng to help him enter the underwater city. But at this moment, the only question on Hai Sheng's mind is what really happened to his father. So, Wu and his crew are really responsible for what happened to Hai Sheng's father. Wu says that Hebo betrayed his crew and the pirate regime. They were all on their way to find the underwater city, but Hebo didn't reveal the location of the city to him and his team at the last moment. So Wu says in a deep voice like a villain that they need the power of the sea to protect them from trouble. Wu forces Hai Sheng to accept his pirate heritage. At that moment, Hai Sheng suddenly remembers that he has a pirate tattoo on his arm. Because he was an orphan, Hai Sheng was never able to live his life the way he wanted. But now, he also knows that it was Wu and his crew who killed his father. Hai Sheng tried very hard to control his anger. At one point, Hai Sheng's screams of pain cause a fish tank behind him to collapse. The captain tries to catch Hai Sheng, but Wu stops him. Hai Sheng still can't imagine this strange power he has. Wu says that if Hai Sheng is alive, he will be the new leader of the pirates, and they want the underwater city to belong to them. So, their journey to find the underwater city begins. In the meantime, we see a funeral on the island. So, Hai Xiao decides to go to his hometown. There, we see that Longqi, who was eaten by Godzilla, has somehow saved his life. Haisheng makes a speech and asks Longqi and his crew to somehow stop Haisheng and the pirates from reaching the hidden city. But none of them are willing to do this. That's because it is too dangerous. But Longqi says that Haisheng is one of their own, so he promises to bring Haisheng back, alive or dead. Meanwhile, Haisheng is now the leader of the pirates. Haisheng, who is wearing a pirate costume, is on his way to the underwater city. The pirates, who see a whirlpool that he creates in the sea to enter the city, start shouting happily. At this time, another boat, which looks like Godzilla, is following Haisheng's ship. No matter how close that boat gets, the pirates don't pay attention to it. That's because it's just a fishing boat. But suddenly, the treasure hunters who appear on this boat start to line up and board Haisheng's ship. Just as the two sides are about to fight, Haisheng's men are able to stop him. The treasure hunters also apologize to Haisheng for leaving them in the middle of the sea that day. Suddenly, many treasure hunters' boats start coming towards the pirate ship from afar. At that moment, Haisheng, who boards the ship, asks Haisheng to come back with him. But Haisheng doesn't like it. Because of this, Haisheng says that Haisheng's father betrayed the pirates because he wanted to save the world from the hidden city's magical power. Haisheng didn't believe any of this. Because of this, Haisheng's attitude completely changes because of Longqi, who comes there at that time. But suddenly, he decides to shoot and kill Dr. Wu Longqi with the same gun that killed Hebog. Because of this, a fierce battle breaks out between the angry treasure hunters and the pirates. In the meantime, Dr. Wu jumps into the sea to find the way to enter the hidden city. Haisheng now remembers what happened to his father when he was a child. After his father fell into the water, he jumped into the water behind his father. In the meantime, the fierce battle on the ship has not stopped. Suddenly, Haisheng is caught in the whirlpool created by the ship and starts to get sucked in. Haisheng manages to save Haisheng, who is about to be killed by the captain. So it seems that Haisheng's superpowers are still not available to him at the right time. Suddenly, Godzilla appears from nowhere and swallows the female captain in one mouth. Haisheng decides to follow the dock and go to the underwater city. This is because he wanted to end this power madness once and for all. So, this whirlpool is not just a giant whirlpool. It is a door to another dimension that leads directly to the hidden city. In order to find the doctor, Haisheng sees the doctor going down to the golden pool and trying to take all the power of the hidden city for himself. Although Wu wants this power for his lust for power, Haisheng only wants to save the world with it, so the two of them prepare to fight. Wu first turns the entire earth and air into ice. Haisheng is very weak because of this unbearable cold. Haisheng somehow gets up and tries to stop Wu, but Wu throws him away. Because of this, the golden armor in Haisheng's hand starts to melt. But suddenly, the gold is absorbed back into Haisheng's body, so Haisheng gets up again. As Haisheng breaks the ice in front of him and walks towards the house, the golden house he has sucked in slowly starts to move away from him. With one more punch, everything around Haisheng is crushed by the ice, making him suffocate like a fly under it. As a result, a cursed island around the island is finally destroyed. The pirates managed to safely return to the surface of the sea with a large number of treasure hunters, so they all thought that Haisheng was dead. But Haisheng somehow manages to come to the surface of the sea, showing that he cannot be killed. So this is how the adventure of Haisheng and the team in search of a hidden city under the sea ends. So, if you think this video is good, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos like this. And see you again in another video like this.